Happy Monday, everybody! You're listening to the Personal Playlist Podcast, fondly referred to as the P3. I'm Noah Daniel.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
I am so excited to have Jeff Kubiak here on the Personal Playlist Podcast. Jeff is the principal of Nelda Mundy Elementary School. He taught for 10 years as an elementary school teacher in grades 4, 5, and 6, and has 7 years of administrative experience. Jeff strives to connect with students by bringing real-world experiences to them, getting to know their names, engaging in lessons and play, and becoming a part of the learning process with them. He's always looked at education from a different lens, as someone who hated and struggled with school. Jeff vows to always do his best to help increase opportunities for all students to feel heard, noticed, celebrated, challenged, and safe. There's not a day that goes by that he doesn't look ahead to improve teacher pedagogy, student engagement, and digital access for all. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Holy smokes, that was quite the intro. Thank you for having me, my friend. I'm so glad we finally got to connect.
I know, it's so funny. Janelle connected us, I think, like a year ago. And
Yeah.
every person that Janelle McLaughlin has ever connected me with has been like a wonderful person, not just a wonderful educator. So I was so excited, and it's been a long time coming, but I'm happy to finally be able to talk to you.
Oh, likewise. Yeah. And Janelle is the wonderfulness to this whole connection, and she's amazing. So I appreciate her.
Yeah, she's a very special friend of mine. One of the things that you wrote to me is that you work hard to push back against the model of industrialized education and fight compliance. What do you mean when you write that?
Well, when I look around not only at my site, but the other schools that I've worked at, and then, through different educators' posts and pictures and things, and there's so much amazing talk about change, right? But education, in the most part, is really still the same that it was set up to be. It's still very factory oriented and focused, and there's still a lot of direct teaching and the same curriculum and desks, and and sure, we have the outliers of these amazing educators who just crush it and connect with every kid and engage in these lessons. But when you look at our whole nation and the way that states push through the educational, practices and mandates and things like that, it's draconian and outdated, and we are moving at light speed with technology and so many different, medical advances and all sorts of other things, and we're still like very Flintstone when it comes to education, and it's frustrating because we don't use the chisel and slate anymore, and man, I don't know. It's frustrating because, like, how much more can we talk and say, and then where is that answer? So I guess that would be my comment to that.
It is a profound realization because there are so many amazing change makers out there. But you're right. Like if you take if you zoom out and you take a look around, it really doesn't look that different. And, it's people like you that's working so hard in their context and sharing what they do to hopefully make that ripple happen. And speaking of that, I want to talk a little bit about your book, One Drop of Kindness. I'd love to know how, because I feel like it really does connect, when you look at your book and you see the contrast in color versus black and white and what it means to have like a full educational experience. I think that really relates to what you were saying. How did the book come to be?
Well, I've always loved to blog and to write and reflect, and it just got to a point where I felt like, doggone it, we've got to have more kindness. And people, like, it's kind of funny, you look at Twitter and people basically kind of rip on kindness, like, oh, kindness, you just keep talking about it, and it's not real. And you know what, if it's intentional, then it is real, and we're missing that from education, corporations, our government and everything. And if we kind of skew our intent, I believe our world would be exponentially a better place to be. And so then, I look at it from a lens kind of my struggle with education. And then growing up, we had probably 30 foster kids in our house. My parents were amazing. They brought in fosters all the time. And, so Gus is basically an orphan or a foster going from home to home, school to school. And that kid is everywhere. And to me, that child is not acknowledged enough, because that child might be a challenge. Child might take more time. That child's going to have different attention and needs and things given to him or her to succeed. And it's like, but that's what we're in it for. We're not in it for the easy kid that can basically educate themselves. We're in it for the struggling kid and everyone to look at our hearts and to make the world a little bit better. Because, well, as you've seen the last couple of weeks in our world, we've got fires burning Australia. We've got, the US and Iran doing some terrible, crazy things. And it's just, we've got to be more intentional.
I really love so many of the messages in your book, and not just about, what it takes to fill a heart with love, but the idea that you should use your courage to change the world. Is that something that your parents taught you?
Very much. My parents were super supportive, but didn't push. My father worked so hard. He worked like 7 days a week, 2 jobs. He worked, different jobs on the weekends. My mom was high school educator. She taught high school for 35 years. And they wanted my sister and I to be better people and to have a better life than they did. And they certainly provided that. And, they would support us in sports and music and activities and want us to follow our dreams and to learn from our failures. And that was amazing. And I'm trying so hard to do that with my own children. And it's not an easy task. And, to look at what my parents gave to us, you really, really, at least I do, I have a huge spot in my heart for the kids that don't have the two parents, be it male and female or two males or two females, but, to have that team support and to show them the right way and to help them correct their mistakes. And, they're in the trap, and it's our job as educators, at least I believe it is, to get in there and to show kids that we can make a difference by, learning and modeling and doing the right thing.
No, it's the great hope of education to be able to level that playing field, especially for kids who don't come from loving households where they're well supported and where their parents are actively involved in their lives. I'm sure as somebody who was a former world-class swimmer and coach, there's a lot of things that you learned in those areas that allow you to do some of the things that you do in school every day.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I got the chance to travel the world, and I had the chance to work with amazing athletes, and I also had the chance to work with a lot of people that had nothing. At one time when I was in the town of Sonoma, we did a lot of work with Latinx families that didn't know how to swim, because there was always a large amount of drownings. We had a couple rivers near us and lakes and things, and getting kids to learn how to swim so they wouldn't drown, and they could, it was mostly adults and then kids too, but you tap into these different successes of kids and these different things that you learn as a coach and a teacher, and you find out how much more you can help each other and yourself all through that. And that's the neat thing about coaching and teaching, is they're really the same thing, but the medium changes, whether it's a palette of colors with art, or a swimming pool, or a baseball field, or a classroom, or whatever it is. We're all trying to improve and help kids thrive.
Yeah, and it's always special when you can find people's strength and use it to help them build new skills or improve on the skills that they have. Tell me a little bit about the process of preparing for this show, because it's different than probably the other podcasts that you've been on.
Well, it was super cool because I love when you brought up the music, and and think, songs that either inspire me or kind of help me reflect, or my go-tos or whatever. And just your perspective and point of view got me thinking in a different direction. And I constantly aspire to become better. And, I ruffle a lot of feathers, and people don't really look at things the same way I do. And that, change is hard. And I've learned to be so much more malleable than I used to be. And with that, I try to help others be malleable. But at the times, maybe I could be a little terse and need to change and soften my approach. And I hope others would want to listen and learn. And I need to listen and learn too. But I don't know. I think that word reflection is overused, but gosh darn it, you know what? It's so important if you're being intentional and owning it and really making a force to improve.
Yeah, but I think that that's true too. Like, there's things that about this show that are not malleable. You have to choose 3 songs, but how you reflect on them and how you use them to tell your story is as individual as the music that you choose. So let's talk a little bit about your nostalgic song and why this version of the song is what spoke to you for that category.
The reason I chose Iz's version, and forgive me because I can't pronounce the beautiful human being's name. Not only do I have a huge connection to the islands because of my father's gift to us, that was what he worked so hard for, is to bring us to the islands every year. We were in Hawaii all the time. My children were not easy as infants, but his music, and especially this song, was the number one thing that would calm my children and get them to kind of find their Zen place. And so it just brings me so much happiness and love because A, my dad loved it, and B, he's Hawaiian, and C, the island connection. But then, thinking about my poor children struggling, with colic and acid reflux and all these little things that you don't want, a little teeny infant to have, just kind of calm. And so every time we hear it, it's kind of we all, the 4 of us, like dance together and just smile and laugh. And it brings me a lot of joy, and like Gus, it really does fill my heart with love when I hear that music.
Amazing. Well, this version of this song has actually become more popular than Judy Garland's. And this man, although he passed away, has a very beautiful voice. And the rendition of this song, accompanied by ukulele, really does speak about the Hawaiian Islands. So here is Israel is Kamakawiwa Ole and Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I love how it goes into What a Wonderful World. It's so special.
Yeah, it's amazing. Whew, that was good. That was good.
It's actually cool.
Nice
for me
pronunciation, by the way, on his
I hope
name.
it's right. Like, respect to the Hawaiian people, because it is a complicated last name, so I hope I came close.
I'm sure he would appreciate your effort in trying, because it sounded nice to me.
Thank you. And you guys actually just went back to Hawaii a little while ago.
Yeah, my mom, sister, and I were back for Thanksgiving for about a week, and we basically played tribute to my dad, who passed in early August from Alzheimer's disease. And yeah, the three of us went. We were in Kauai the whole time and visited a bunch of his favorite hiking spots and restaurants and beaches and walks and just little sites that he loved, and spread a little bit of pops all over everywhere we went. And it was magical for the three of us to be there together. Very powerful, very emotional, but really joyful at the same time.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and I know how Alzheimer's can take so much dignity and humanity out of the person, so it must have been a touchstone for you to be back there and experiencing the space, even with him in spirit.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And you're right, Alzheimer's is very ugly, and it's heartbreaking, but they are making advances, and let's just hope that it keeps moving forward.
Yeah, my second book, actually, it was the first book I wrote, but the second book I ever had published was called Old Timers, The One That Got Away, and it was about my grandfather when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And in so many ways, I'm glad so much has changed, because I kind of wrote him off to memory in the book, and hopefully the story can change with all the scientific advancements. Let's
awesome.
talk a little bit about your identity song. This is a song that came from a film, but there's so many aspects of this song that could so easily be a part of the you that I've seen in social media over the time that I've known you. When you decided on this song, which part of it did you want to tell your story?
You know, the movie and the song, and then the song that transformed into the world peace song. Um, uh, just that, man, I just think that those three words, stand by me, you know, to me, that encapsulate a lot what we need to be doing better. Um, that regardless if we're enemies, friends, or frenemies, that we have to be at with each other in a way that's going to be supportive. And we have to have difficult conversations, and we have to disagree, and we have to have different philosophies and, you know, political views and everything. But why can't I stand next to someone of a different color, race, religion, creed, LGBTQ? Who cares what that person is? They have something to share and to give. And when we can't recognize that, that pulls us further apart. And um, if you've ever seen the YouTube video of the world peace music songs, the one that you're going to play, oh my gosh, it's just mind blowing to me. Just seeing the sheer love and joy in these musicians' eyes and listening to their voices, and it's truly transforming to me every time I think about it. But I really think about unity and thriving to become a better us.
That's so much about the work that you do in schools and the messaging in your book. Are you working on another book anytime
I
soon?
am, actually, and it's kind of a completely different spin, but it is a book that's going to look at many of the students and people that we come across every day that don't have, in my opinion, as an educator and person, have enough voice. And so this is empowering and helping others to strengthen and thrive with their own voice. And so it's called It's Me.
And our job as educators is to do that, to let kids find and be themselves and give them opportunities and do the job of not just leading, but sometimes standing by them. So let's play it, Stand By Me, originally by Benny King.
This song says, no matter who you are, no matter where you go in your life, at some point you're going to need somebody to stand by you. Oh yeah, oh my darling, stand by me. No matter who you are, no matter where you go in life, you gonna need somebody to stand by you. No matter how much money you got, all the friends you got, you gonna need somebody to stand by you. When the night has come and the land is dark and that moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed one tear. Just as long as your people come and stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Come on, stand by me. Yeah. Oh, when that sky that we look upon, well, she tumble and fall on the mountains, they should crumble into the sea. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Please stand by me. Stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Please stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, baby, baby.
So this version was from Playing for Change, and the idea was peace through music. When did you first come upon this version of the song?
From my mom, actually, a couple of years ago. She heard it in church and said, "Check it out." And so I've been sharing it ever since, because the characters that are in the video that play the music are just phenomenal. They're just, kind of everyday people from third world countries and all over the place that just are really trying to change. And I just, it's awesome. Awesome. I hope everyone liked that one.
Yeah, I've seen that done with Ripple also, but that version, it really speaks on so many levels to everything that you were talking about, and the kind of work that I feel so honored to be a part of in the world, like actually supporting change and being somebody who models change, which is something that I think you do all the time. But sometimes things are hard and you need a motivational song.
Yeah, you do.
So you picked one that is surprising, considering it talks about the challenges of growing up, and some of it's a little bit dark. So how did you choose this as your pick-me-up song?
So it's, I think it's a little edgy. Um, and it does talk about, to me, it talks kind of about failure and, um, or my interpretation, is kind of to not give up. And what do you do if things are against you? And just the beat and the music. Um, I don't know, the word all kind of just help me to remember that it's okay, and we really can.
Sometimes those songs that have edge motivate you so much because you kind of have to face the darkness to find the dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Linkin Park as a band in general has a lot of really interesting music, and this was one of their hit songs. But of all the songs, you chose this because this is one that you listen to often?
It is.
Okay.
Quite often, my kids are like, "Dad, what is this?" And it just totally fires me up. Fires me up.
All right, let's play it. In the end, Linkin Park. Let's get fired up.
It starts with
one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock takes life away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on to didn't even know or wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. One thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how.
Jeff, how do you feel about sharing your 3 songs with me?
How do I feel about it? I feel kind of nervous, excited, happy. I think it's super cool. It's funny that in the end song, the word time comes up a lot. And I think that people don't relish the time we have enough. And I realize that, with my dad and with the past couple weeks with vacations and stuff. And right now, you and I cut out time to spend together. And I think that's really important that, I don't know, when you have a circle, if you're giving time to someone else and they're willing to give your time to each other as well, that's just a huge special thing that we can give to each other. So for me to be able to share the music, some people like it, some people won't. It'll, relish some. But music's pretty amazing, and it does connect people.
Yes, it certainly does. So let's make sure we can connect our audience with you. Where can people find you?
I enjoy learning from lots of people like you on Twitter at Jeffrey Kubiak. I am at AquaCube, AQUAKUBE, on Instagram. My website is jeffkubiak.com. And also there is a One Drop of Kindness Facebook page that I use as well.
And I want to make sure that
I'm also on
on LinkedIn. Perfect. I want to make sure that
Yes.
I put the link in to be able to purchase your book on Amazon, because it's a very powerful book, and it's getting such really great reviews.
Yeah, thank you. I'm blessed that people are sharing Gus's message and using it to teach lessons and to share good things. And it's pretty fun to see something you've created being shared by others.
It really is. And that is something special. And those are the kinds of things that in the end, you know, when we give our time, it really does matter. And it feels good to be able to feel like you make an impact. Is there anything you want to add before I play you out?
No, I just want to add that you're amazing and I appreciate you. And like I said, the time and connectedness is really the most important things that we all have together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Likewise, my friend.
Thank you for joining us on the P3, the Personal Playlist Podcast. I'm Noah Daniel. This is Voice Ed Radio, and I hope you have a fantastic day.